Yo, what's going on, fellas? It's your boy Huncho. Just a quick little recap for you guys once again. I'm gonna go over the trade that I took today on SPY and how I was able to catch this move and why I not knew, but you know what I'm saying, why I was more convinced for the move to the downside than I was for the upside, right? So let's get right to it. So first things first, I spend quality time, just looking at levels of interest. I use the 30 minute, right? And I just look at areas of interest. As you can see right here would be a key pivot. This could be an area of interest as well, around 640. And I did my you know my my study all the way back from even when we were back at 630 uh, sometime last year, and was just looking at the areas of interest, what was going on around 630, and then just using them right now currently to see how price reacts now that it's retesting those areas again. All right, so I use the 30 minute and then the 15 minute. I use to be able to hold my positions. Whenever we're under VWAP, I just let them ride. Whenever we're above range, I just let them play out. And I use the 5 minute for execution. All right, so I've explained to you guys this before. All right, just wanted to show you guys, if you guys this is the first time you're watching a video of mine, I use a 5 minute to execute trades for my entries to try to do my best to get the most get the precise entries as possible, right? So first things first, let me show you guys real quick the main levels out of every market open for me. It is the pre-market levels. Pre-market levels are your friends. Now there's two ways that they react, right? Uh, you break above, and then you use them as support. You break under pre-market low, then you use them as resistance within the range, support and resistance, right? You buy the dip at pre-market low, you buy the top at pre-market high. Right there. That strategy itself you can utilize, and you are guaranteed to make some bread. Definitely, 100%. That was really just a strategy I used in the beginning, and it's so profitable if you're patient. The main reason why a lot of traders are unprofitable is honestly because of lack of discipline, and they don't have patience. They don't wait. They just are trigger happy and just want to be in the play and chase every single candle as long as the market is open. That's not the best way to approach this game, fellas, because you're trading out of desperation and not out of uh, professionalism. You're not being a professional like the way that the rich people are. They're calculated and they're patient, right? They don't need more money. They don't care. So they're just smart with their decisions. When you're calm and you're neutral and you're not biased towards things, it allows you to take more better calculated decisions. All right. So enough of that. Let's get right into it. The levels I used, right? 638, 60, 633, 642 key zone, 629 key zone. These are the main areas, right, for this day, and I'm gonna show you guys this post that I made on Twitter this morning at 8:22 a.m. Huncho scan potential scenarios, right? So as you guys can see, I was drawing potential scenarios just so you guys can understand. This is not just me, drawing squiggly lines and just being, zigzagging and all that. No, guys, these are scenarios that I can see SPY doing based off of, just seeing the movement and my whole experience and utilizing the levels that I have drawn to help me see the best setups, right, once they start to form to then execute properly with low risk entries and high quality uh, setups and with more confidence, right? So the fourth scenario was the scenario of that page. All right, I'm gonna go show you guys real quick. It's coming up. There it is. Bang. There it is. All right. Fourth scenario. That was the play. Dip down pre-market low, pop to the upside, testing 638.60. This is the real move, right? This pay, right? And as you guys can see, that's exactly what happened. Dip down to pre-market low, right around here. Pop back to 638.60. Drop all the way to 629. right? So as you guys can see, this was the play, and it did amazing. I wish it would have happened sooner, but you know the the idea was there, the vision was there, and we did profit. We did go green. That's the good thing. A bad thing would be if this did play out and we were red. Okay, that's really bad. So yeah, guys, that was the fourth scenario page. Now I'm gonna show you guys why. Why did I go in puts? Okay. All right. Number one, I'm gonna show you guys. First thing is first is I'm gonna talk to you guys about my mistakes. My mistake was my entry. Horrible entry. I took this play at 10:53, 6:30 puts. I went in five contracts. So I went in five contracts at 10:53 at this candle right here. This was my entry here. Okay, horrible entry. And I only took this because we were bouncing off the EMAs, and this rejection here gave me. I got a little bit of FOMO because I missed the morning move, and it was already 11. Okay, so for me by 11, I should already be done. I should already be green and enjoy my day. That's the majority of you know the that's how it is the majority of the times, right? Is I'm a morning guy. I like to be done by 11, because but unfortunately today we had news, we had Powell speaking, and it was a whole lot of nothing. But because of who he is, there was a lot of expectations around that, and you know, people were just expecting something big to happen, right? He was gonna say something or whatever, and that was gonna impact today's movement. Okay, so I took this off of the EMAs. As you guys can see, the formation that was going on here, I was like, okay, our target's down to 633. It's not that far. We're under the EMAs. Let's play it safe, right? And let's ride this down. Okay. Now, when we got in this trade, it immediately reversed on us and popped to the upside. Now, I shouldn't have taken this because we were at pre-market low. This is basically pre-market low. Don't fade the pre-market levels. Okay. Just wait for confirmation, right? A good entry would have been if we would have broke, if we would allow this candle, if it actually wanted to dip to the downside, to break under pre-market low, and then look for a candle close, and then enter to ride down to our targets to the downside. All right, that's a proper way to do it. The problem is that I like being early and stuff, and I want to catch the full move. I don't want to feel like I'm chasing because for me, when I see a move to the upside and then I hop in calls, let's say above VWAP, that's for me. I just don't like it. I like catching bottoms and tops, reversals. For me, I don't like playing. I like pullbacks. I don't like chasing. I don't like candle closes to the upside and then we close above a level and we just keep running up. It's more riskier in my opinion. They can play out. I know a lot of people that are very profitable and use that strategy, but for me, it's just not me. I don't enter these plays with confidence. I end up getting some stupid entry, and I go red. Okay, and yeah, fellas. So that was a mistake I made down the pre-market low. I took puts, bad entry. I should have waited for the retest to pull back. That would have been the proper entry there. So yeah, guys, we didn't close this trade. I I was just convinced we were moving to the downside because under 638, guys, it was a it was a bear zone. Okay, this was my second entry. I averaged down here right at this retest, and we ended up going green a bit, but then it completely reversed on us right under right near the low of day, and we retested 638.60 again. I still didn't close this trade. If anything, I full ported. I added my entire portfolio back here again at this 638.60 retest, right? And saw the weakness. We loaded up the rest of our uh, our report here on puts, and we rode this all the way down to 634. Okay, now why was I convinced that there was going to be a move to the downside? Well, if you guys look very carefully, I'll show you guys on the 15 minute what happened at 6:38:60. Okay, once we broke under, we hit down all the way down to 6:33. All right, as you guys can see above it, look what happened. All right, we got to move to the upside. This for me is are ranges, fellas. I look at these as ranges, as boxes, whatever you want to call it. You know, when we're here, I play what's going on here. When we're under here, I'm playing this. I'm using this as my support and resistance. Okay, I'm not I'm not looking to play against it. No, these are all ranges. These are playgrounds, different playgrounds for me. And me, while we're within them, I'm gonna play according, to how it's setting up within the range. Okay, so there's that. Also, my big my big indicator, the VIX. Okay, we were above 29.41. Okay, that was an important key pivotal bars. You guys can see once we were this was on Friday 29.41. We got a pop to the upside. This morning pop to the upside. Pop to the upside. We didn't break under. If we would have broke under 29.41 and we got above 638, this play would have been invalidated. I would have cut it. I would have surrendered, and that would have been GG's. Okay, but we were still above the range, and even though we were breaking under 33, which is an important zone for us, as you guys can see, right? It's an important area to watch. I know some people say, well, what's the point of charting VIX? Don't chart VIX. VIX, that makes no sense. Um, I don't know. I don't care. I use it and it works for me. Okay, so yeah, 30-33 was an important key zone. So that was a little bit. I was a little bit hesitant on holding. So it was a little bit of uncertainty, but going on, especially on the pops. But I was still holding my ground, and I was like, you know what? We're still above 29.41, and I'm not gonna let this go until this play is actually validated, because I recently, fellas, it's been so many times when directionally we are correct. It's just the entry that's flawed sometimes, and I'm not gonna sit here and take the L. And this would have played out the whole entire day, and me close this trade right at the proper entry where I was supposed to average down. So yeah, I was gonna do that. I'd rather just close red. I don't care. Instead of just watching the whole play that I initially wanted play in front of me. So yeah, guys, that was how I took this play today. And another thing, fellas, is you have to understand that right now the market is news driven. It's political. Whether you like it or not, the market doesn't care about your feelings. A lot of people act like a victim and they say this market's stupid. Well, you need to adapt, or else you're going to continue to lose. Nobody's coming to save you. You either collect data and understand pattern recognition and try to see the reactions of certain headlines that the reactions of people and what they're looking for. Collect that, use that to your advantage. Don't get emotional. This isn't about you. Okay? When emotions are involved, you're not gonna win. In the long term, you're not gonna win. You're gonna make a couple wins here and there. You're gonna feel good about yourself, but in the long term, it's gonna affect you, and it's gonna affect you in a negative way. So, you guys know Powell speaking, and everybody was gonna be like, okay, we're expecting a ripper. Boom, let's get it. All right, and we're at pre-market low. There's a dip. Yeah, boom. We're gonna hit the upside. We're gonna go to the moon. All right. Now, everybody was in calls. It's too obvious. The setup was there. It played out, yes, but that wasn't the move of the day. That was not the move. Some people went green on the calls. That's fine, but that wasn't the move I was looking for. All right, especially we had the pop to the upside. We had the gap up. We were like, you know what? Calls is gonna pay today. So I'm a little bit against what people are reacting and what's people's expectation, because a lot of the time, it's wrong. Okay, so just try to stand out, try to look at outside the box, and just absorb what's going on, and try to take a proper entry and have a clear mind, and really consider if what's going on is actually true, or is it just it's just bluffing. So this is something that you get as time goes and as experience the more experience you get, this is why I say get as much screen time as you can, and that's going to be able to help you to get more confidence when you take these plays and such. So yeah, fellas, it's it was definitely a good day. We ended up going green. Our account is now at 650, which is pretty good after a drawdown on Friday. So yeah, fellas, that was the plays that we took today. If you guys have any questions, make sure to leave a comment below. Make sure to subscribe and tag me in the chat wherever this is going to be posted. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.